Hangman Page suffers a concussion on last night's AEW Dynamite. Plus, the main event for AEW Full Gear has been announced, and an AEW star makes a shock return. It's all in the wrestling news right now. We're sending our best this morning, of course, to Hangman Adam Page. He was in the main event last night at AEW Dynamite, and Moxley hit him with the King Kong Lariat about 5 or 10 minutes from the end of the match, it seemed. And Hangman Page flipped through the air and landed face first onto the canvas and did not move. Referee went to check on him and then called over a medical team member to check on him as well. And shortly after that, the referee for the match awarded it to Jon Moxley. Yeah, and that was the end of that. Cameras had focused on Moxley and the commentary team, but we saw from photos of people who were there, including photos from Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful, that Moxley was attended to by multiple medical experts.
Hangman.
Hangman was attended to by multiple medical experts, and then he was taken from the ring. They actually removed the bottom rope from the ring so they could effectively get him out of the ring and then stretcher him away. From after that match, we got an update from PW Insider, who say that Hangman Page was taken to a local hospital for examination, and Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful said that Hangman was responsive and stable. We've since then had an update from AEW, haven't we, Jack?
We have. They said Hangman Adam Page was taken tonight by medical personnel to a Cincinnati trauma center and diagnosed with a concussion. He was discharged but will remain in AEW's concussion protocol. AEW and Hangman Page are grateful for the exemplary response and care of staff and local medical personnel and are appreciative of the love and support of fans everywhere.
It was tough to watch. It was just a very basic move that has been done multiple times by Moxley, that just on this particular occasion, for no fault through either person, just went a bit awry.
Which is wrestling's dangerous sometimes, isn't it? And I think it's a reminder that even the most innocuous, and this wasn't an innocuous match, this was an intense, fiery one, which is fair enough. But even the most innocuous match can always lead to an injury. Wrestling is just a very dangerous art form and sport sometimes. And I think the AEW handled it in the correct way.
Absolutely, they did. Dr. Christopher Nowinski, who has a history with this sort of thing. His career was cut short by concussions in WWE, and he went on Twitter and applauded AEW for the way the situation was recognised and how quickly referee Paul Turner acted. He said, quote, "It gives the best chance for a good outcome."
Yep.
And it really was.
There was a big outpouring of support as well from from loads of fans, but also various different wrestlers as well, including Big E, who of course relatively recently suffered a broken neck in another match where people just wouldn't have expected it. I think it was just on a SmackDown, wasn't it? A multi-man tag team match.
It was an overhead suplex from Ridge Holland, and he just landed badly, and that's the year. That's him done for the year.
Yeah, and he tweeted his support as well, which is great to see. And I think about an hour and a half ago, Dave Meltzer must have been still awake, because I think he tweeted that Hangman is doing all right or something like that. Yeah. So that's really good to hear, because it was a scary moment for sure.
Because to see it and like the way he landed from that King Kong Lariat, not like a way a wrestler would land, where like you'd land and you'd land flat on your stomach. Like he was sort of on his side, and just did, and like it was almost like he hit the ground, then just stopped completely, like he stiffened and just didn't move at all. So there was a lot of concern there, and they acted very quick. So much respect to AEW for how quickly they reacted, and we send our best to Hangman Page.
Yeah, of course, yes.
Full and speedy recovery.
Absolutely.
So this for some people, because of the nature of how AEW has been over the past few weeks and months, there was questions of was this a work? Is this a storyline bit? Right. No element of this felt like it was a storyline bit. They were clearly stalling for time because they were under for AEW Dynamite that night. You could tell them, Taz in particular was very rattled on commentary by it. They were keeping cameras off Hangman Page. This very much didn't feel like that.
No.
And they were padding for time because they wanted that last segment to be MJF.
Right. So, well, it's worth noting as well that you might be thinking, hang on, why is this all happening last night when Dynamite's typically on a Wednesday? But this week, Dynamite was moved to Tuesday because of the ongoing baseball playoffs.
The Rounders.
And the baseball, and they did, I'm annoyed there, sorry. It's the baseball talk. America. But they moved it to Tuesday night, which led to sort of like an unofficial re-emergence of the war between AEW and NXT, I suppose.
The Wednesday Night War is back, but Tuesday form.
Tuesday, but just for 1 week. And you're right, they were padding for time because they wanted this big closing segment, which did involve MJF coming out and teasing cashing in his casino ladder match chip, the title shot that I think has now been sort of established he can cash in whenever he wants. He teased cashing that in and then said, no, I'm actually wanting Moxley to be 110% with no excuses when I do cash in. So he implied that therefore he was going to cash it in at Full Gear, the next pay-per-view. I found that a bit out of character for MJF.
It was a weird out of character night for MJF because he also had that phenomenal promo with he and William Regal where they went back and forth on how Regal wanted to bring MJF into WWE when he was younger and then kind of went cold on him. Yeah. And how that lit a fire under MJF, and Regal was like, well, good, you got it easy. If an email lit a fire under you.
But intriguingly, the in between MJF's kind of first sort of promo at Regal, and then Regal comes back at him and says, well, no, but between that, the crowd turned on Regal. MJF's so effective when he wants to be, but then Regal managed to get them back. It was just two absolute masters of the microphone, I suppose. Go out your
way to find that today. It's really, really solid promo stuff. We had a match set for Rampage as well. So the Full Gear main event, as we know, MJF and Jon Moxley.
Well, I don't know if I believe him, but it would be. It would make sense as a main event, wouldn't it?
It's got to be.
Yeah, I can't think of anything bigger.
That's where they're going.
Yeah, it's got to be.
Because that's kind of where they were going to go anyway, but they're kind of going there with Moxley instead of
Punk.
CM Punk.
Yeah, fair enough.
Also, a match arguably with much bigger stakes on Rampage. The rights to the Scissor Me catchphrase are on the line. The Acclaimed facing the Varsity Athletes. Tony Nese and Josh Woods for the tag titles.
Yes, so basically Mark Sterling, the manager of the Varsity Athletes, has been trademarking stuff. So originally he purchased the trademark for the word varsity somehow. So the Varsity Blondes can't use that anymore, which is why the tag team are now called the Varsity Athletes. And then purchased the rights to the Scissor Me catchphrase, which the Acclaimed can no longer use. But that's on the line, as well as the tag belts. Wrestling's great. In this tag title match, which is on Rampage this week, I believe.
In amongst all of that, there was a shock return on Dynamite last night as Toni Storm took a shoe-in from Jamie Hayter and Rebel. Rijo re-emerged.
Yes, she did. She hasn't been gone from the company, but this is very much a return because I think it's the first time we've seen her since May.
It is, yeah.
She's been doing like off-camera work for AEW. She's been like representing them in the games sphere and things like that. I suppose.
She wrestled at the Tokyo Game Show as part of her promotion for Fight Forever.
Oh, I see. Fair enough.
So she did stuff there as well.
So she did wrestle there?
Yes, they had like a showcasey thing taking place there. I understand.
Yes.
And now she's back in the mix of the women's division, which I'm happy to see.
She was in the kind of the standard, the babyface who comes out to turn the tide spot, to make the save. She saved the day. It was great to see her because I feel like when I read, we haven't seen her since May, I would have expected it feels a little bit longer than that even, I think. So maybe it's just that she hasn't had as much of a spotlight on her since she's been gone. I don't know, but I'm glad to see her back.
Welcome back, Rijo. Yeah. And once again, we sent our best at Hangman Page, who was a rough watch last night, and here's to a full and speedy recovery for you.
Absolutely.
More wrestling news throughout the day at cultaholic.com. Stay safe, and love you, bye.